For the past weeks, I've been very busy and having a hard time sticking to uploading videos regularly. Also, there's a lot of updates going on in Ragnarok Mobile Classic right now, which affected my workflow too. So, instead of trying to make many videos, I just played the game as I usually do and try to record as many footage of gameplay I can. Recently, I uploaded my Dungeon Raids run with my Earth Drive build Royal Guard. Everyone wants to know how it works and what my setup is. So this time, I will be detailing what I did and what works. Hi everyone, my name is Rai. In this video, we are going to talk about Earth Drive for PVE content. Watch the video till the end to ensure you don't miss an information. Let's clear the air first. Earth Drive build is not a tank that deals damage. It is a damage dealer that can take hits to survive as much as possible. That is two complete opposite things. Even though Earth Drive scales from high vitality and high defense, it doesn't mean that it will mainly do tanking for your dungeon raids. Vitality, defense, and HP can only bring you to a certain degree of bulk, and that doesn't mean you can totally fulfill a tank role. Earth Drive Royal Guard aims to deal damage as much as possible using our main skill, Earth Drive. With this thing in mind, our character build will focus on how a usual damage dealer builds their kit. In here, we are focusing on getting our ignore defense percentage as high as the current dungeon or MVP demands. With the current content, we need 100% ignore defense in all difficulties of Palace of Ghost, Dark Finale, Lost Isle, and Ponape Museum. For Thanatos Tower, tackling Thanatos Tower, normal difficulty, we need at least 150% ignore defense. This is in contrast to Thanatos Tower Warrior difficulty, which requires us to get 100% ignore defense, same as previously mentioned dungeons. Don't ask me why this is a thing with Thanatos Tower. Ask the developers why is this the case for Thanatos Tower in ROM Classic. For stats distribution, here is what it should look like. For skill distribution, here is what it should look like. For Aesir, here are the priority Aesir runes and how many gold medals are required. You only need 97,950 to 99,500 contribution points and 338 gold by setting your path in Aesir as the fewest medal path. This is the minimum you can get to enable all the necessary Aesir. For gear selection, as I mentioned, we need to prioritize ignore defense before optimizing our character. When reaching the desired ignore defense, through this equipment selection, we can swap in and swap cards and some of gear to optimize our damage. Getting morale and chance in the armor and weapon is your biggest enchant priority, as this will free up your equipment and card selection. Since we are building this for dungeon raids and MVP, I recommend using Minora's cards for weapon for damage to large-sized monsters and enable its deposit effect that will give us 20% ignore defense in the process. Minora's is preferable in majority of scenarios for dungeon runs due to the fact that most MVP in dungeons are large size. For weapon, don't use green steel pike, use Bil Gizarme. Bil Gizarme's star will provide us ignore defense and damage to MVP. At plus 10 refine level, this weapon will give us 15% ignore defense and 40% damage to MVP. For armor, you can use Adventurer Rift Armor plus 12 with VID options, but the recommended armor will be Legion Plate Armor and its star version. LPA will give us high VIT, high defense, and awesome amount of HP percent and elemental reductions per refine levels. This is good for our Earth Drive damage and at the same time for our durability when trading hits. Use Munak Star card for the slot of your armor. This will provide you 15% ignore defense that we really need to dish out the damage to MVP and monsters during our dungeon runs. Selecting your shield is crucial. Adventurer's Shield plus 12 is your best cheap choice to get that ignore defense. At plus 12, this offhand will give us a total of 22% ignore defense. This is nice to have and very cheap to make. If you have exceeded your target Ignore defense, you can switch to Giant Shield. This shield will provide us 1% damage to MVP for each refine and provide us a bit of reduction against MVP damage. This reduction covers both magic and physical damage sources. This is a shield which is also very cheap to make and refine. For offhand, use the free card given to us, Merrill Rowland's card. Or if you got the resource, get Alice Star card. For garment, same as the selection we did with offhand, we can use plus 12 Adventurer Garment with Ignore Defense % option, providing us with 15% Ignore Defense. This is a cheap alternative to Ancient Cape, easy to slot and very easy to acquire. Else, get an Ancient Cape. For cards, use the free Mayfair Lindsay card. That's for the MVP damage. If you are wealthy, get Eclipse Star. Gives us more vitality and also scales our maximum HP for each vitality we currently have. Boots can be either variant shoes, Grandma Wolf shoes, or adventure boots plus 12. All works fine, depending on what stats you are lacking, be it vitality or defense or Ignore defense. You can choose which of these shoes are for you. Use Mistletoe Star card for the slot. For your accessories, either you go for plus 12 Adventurer accessories with Ignore Defense or Vitality options. This will depend again on how high your Ignore Defense is. If you have reached the certain Ignore Defense we have targeted, use the Vitality option. Also, use Endurance Necklace plus 8 or higher if you can afford to upgrade, refine, and slot it. For card selection, you can use the following for accessories, depending on which MVP you are tackling. For reference, here is what I am currently wearing. FAQ on Earth Drive build. Is Earth Drive better than Overbrand build? No, Overbrand has instant slash and is convertible to elements taking advantage of elemental coefficients. Earth Drive is locked on the Earth element, having bad match up to Fire, Earth, and Holy Elemental MVP while having no advantage on other elements except Wind. Does Earth Drive build allows us to be tank that deals damage? As Earth Drive is designed or built to deal damage, tanking is only second priority to do. If you prioritize to tank, then deal damage with Earth Drive, you won't be helping much your party because you have subpar tanking gear and subpar Earth Drive damage. Build a proper tank rather and leave the damage dealing to your guildmates. Why do we need Ignore Defense? Earth Drive only needs Vitality and Defense to deal high damage. Getting Ignore Defense high is to eliminate the reduction of our targets for our Earth Drive to deal the true damage it can dish out. Even with overpumped Vitality and Defense, without Ignore Defense, we cannot deal high damage on MVP players and monsters. Does Earth Drive benefit from attack and refine attack? No, it doesn't. Earth Drive skill formula only takes Vitality and Defense as its source of damage. How can I reach 100% Ignore Defense with Earth Drive build? Refer to the equipment and card selection I mentioned. Also focus on getting Ignore Defense in your Guild Blessing and Aesir runes. Why Minoris? Isn't it better to use Sting Star? Sting Star will provide us with defense %. Yes, it looks good because our Earth Drive formula uses defense for calculating skill damage output. Unfortunately, defense is added to formula and not directly as damage modifier like Minoris does. Minoris will add damage after the skill damage of Earth Drive is calculated. That means it is multiplier rather than additional damage. Plus 25% damage to large will always be superior compared to plus 10% defense. Why not use Green Steel Pike instead of Bil Gusarme? Same answer as the Sting Star versus Minoris. Bil Gusarme will provide you higher multiplier because it will apply the damage to MVP and Ignore Defense after we have calculated our Earth Drive skill damage. If you have invested with Green Steel Pike, use that for tanking dungeons instead. How can I improve my Earth Drive build further? Get good vitality and chance on your gear. Improve your handbook unlocks and deposit. Get more damage modifiers like penetration, damage to size or race or elements, earth damage increase and skill damage increase. Max out your armor enhance, get your prayers and blessing focused on defense. As the game progresses, these sources will expand and provide us more avenue to improve our damage. Thanks for tuning in up until this point. That's all for now for my Earth Drive build. I know I've been irregularly uploading guide videos, but due to circumstances, I am really trying to give everyone the right and easy to digest information rather than bombing you with information. I originally planned to release cards and Aesir mini guide. Somehow I ended up with a large-scale content and I don't want to proceed with it. It feels too much of information to digest and will sow confusion instead of help. For now, I will be discussing builds incorporating cards and Aesir to ease up everyone's challenges. Please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more Ragnarok Mobile and Royal Guard videos. See you on the next one. Peace.